watching it end again and again. I feel it in waves that follow me, drifting to places I should leave. Left me in this mess, I'm falling. Never know. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Can't find a reason why. We couldn't get any closer. We couldn't get any closer. We couldn't get any closer.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Nemesis Gaming League action. We're back at it here, and we are going to be revealing the players of the week on this one, as we're back for week number 4 already, which is kind of crazy here. I'm Rockerman, joined by the one and only Merely Mental, back in the booth. Merely, how's it going on this fine Monday evening?
Going fantastic, as good of a Monday as you could ask for. We're going to get some Rocket League going. We're going to congratulate some people on having an outstanding performance last week. Things are going good.
Yeah, things are going good, and yeah, we do got some players to congratulate for their performances last week. So let's take a dive here in this one. This time, Provisional is not listed as NA. So we got Provisional players. They had their first week of the regular season this past week. So let's give a couple of shout outs to some people who made it on our list. There were quite a few of them, actually, making some good performances. We've got NJ from the Goats, Lasagna Man from the Jesters, who we'll see later, Crispy Waves from the Moderators, Green Sensei, Cal from the Jesters making on here, Abe, Griffin, Z-Burns, Angel, Savage, Django's, Joestar, and Bradish all making their way on the list, but they did not win the Player of the Week award. Those are all the players that didn't win it, but they gave it a good effort. The player that did win this, and hopefully I do not butcher this name, I think it's Smile RTJE. Simul, that's what I'm going with. Smile gets the Player of the Week here. He's on Dissonance, so I'm sure we'll know very shortly if we messed up his name. But Smile is taking home the Player of the Week for Dissonance. A huge performance this week, going absolutely crazy. 1.38 goals per game, 1.50 saves, shooting over 55% there, and averaging a cool almost 420 on the score. So definitely deserved there. Congrats to Smile on taking the Player of the Week for the first ever Player of the Week, merely for the Provisional League.
Oh, yeah, huh? Oh, big congrats there, Provisional League, starting off strong. You love to see it. With that said, we will head into the Novice League, where we had some pretty tight competition here, but there were a couple of standout players. Just to give a quick shout out to a player whose name I'm about to probably butcher as well, Kusai. There's an X in there somewhere. I'm not really sure how that fits into the pronunciation, but I'm just going to call him that for now. I see the Chef was up there popping off, Fushiguru. There were a couple people who had really good weeks. I see C Money up there, but didn't quite get enough games. You gotta play at least 5 games to make it into potential, or 6 games, to make it into the running. See Twisted Hydro up there, Rooney himself from Genesis. A lot of good contenders, but this player, bit standout. It was close between him and Kusei, both with over 500 score. But I think he edged out the department just a little bit in the individual stats categories, and that player is Dre from the Kiwis with 1.67 goals per game, 1.17 assists, and 1.17 saves. All around, had a phenomenal performance and definitely deserving of this one.
Okay. Definitely. And the Kiwis have been popping off, and Dre has been a huge part of that. Congratulations. This is a close one. 500 score a game for this young lad there and averaging over one in every category. So just an insane performance this week for him. So shout out to him. And let's move along to the Prospect League, where we had some more crazy performances out here. I guess not as crazy as when we get to Challenger, which we'll talk about, but some top performers on the list here. We got Bora Bora. I have no idea who that is. Do not recognize the name at all, but they're on here. Blessed from the Banshees is on there. Okay, Tiny, Origin Legend out there. Dukes, Dreams, Mealy, your what do you call it, doppelganger out there on Ember, making some moves up there. You got Wolfie also on there. But the winner for Player of the Week is going to go to Air Sweeney from the Blackhawks. The man went insane. Another nuclear week here from him as he went 1.44 goals per game, almost 60% shooting, over or as an assist per game and over a save per game as well. So the man went crazy. Shout out to Eric Sweeney, been around for a while and getting a Player Week award there for Prospect.
A big congrats to Eric Sweeney there. The Prospect League was kind of insane, but holy cow, this Challenger League. There was four players. There was four players technically with over 600 score per game. A couple of them didn't meet the games requirements, but I can't go without shouting out Dolphin Puck, who only played 3 games. So one series, it was a sweep, but managed to average 782 score per game, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Even if it's not for the whole week, only for one series, that's some big numbers up there. Other honorable mentions, we got Juicy Leaf out here. We've got a couple other. Sorry, just scrolling down. A lot of players with high score, but not enough games, unfortunately. We got Egg Dip, Blueberry, a lot of food names here I'm seeing. We got Davi and Hypnotic up here, but this one had to go to the one, the only, Jeffrey with the exclamation point. He managed to pop off with 661 average score per game. Just simply ridiculous. 1.62 goals, 1.38 assists, and almost 3 saves per game at 2.88. I don't know what happened in the Challenger League this last week, but it was a bloodbath.
I don't know what they're feeding them nearly. Who knows? But I don't think that's quite a record for most average score in one week, but it's pretty close up there. Actually, I was just looking, I just scrolled back a little bit. Mayo had 672 last season in week 8, so not quite the best, but that's one of the better performances. A newbie on the Papayas making his name known, and a big reason why the Papayas may be turning things around a little bit here. So shout out to Jeffrey, and we'll move on to the Rival League, where another spicy league here for the Rival League. Always some good banter between these guys. So let's get through with the shout outs. Shout out to LSM, the goated Hydra sub. Now was on Knights this past week. I'm not sure if he's still on Knights. I know there's a few roster changes, but popped off this week there to Shega. Well, actually, he didn't quite meet the game requirements, so unfortunate. But Isaac's on here. Magma, a Nemesis legend, is up there. Squintle from Rival. Shout out to him. Valence also making his way onto this list as well. But the winner is going to go to another person who's been around in Nemesis for a little bit from Distortion. It is going to go to Botsy04 there, who had an insane week. This man dropped 1.86 goals per game this past week. So the man went absolutely insane. 460 average score as well. So definitely deserving of the Player of the Week award. And good to see him finally take one there. And congratulations to him.
And last but not least, as always, we're heading into the Titan League, where things are always the most competitive, and sometimes the scores actually surprise me, because it's not easy to rack up high scores against players this good. Once again, some honorable mentions. I see Mad Max up there. We got to watch him have some success on stream last week. I see Aura, Insanity, a bunch of well-known players up here. I see Arrow even down there. Had a pretty good week last week. But this one is going to have to go, actually, to Nuggy on Inferno. I'm actually not super familiar with this player, but he had a great week. 532 average score, 1.33 goals, 1.33 assists, and 1.5 saves as well. So Inferno maybe turn around a little bit with 100% win, double sweeps last week.
Yeah, definitely a huge performance. And I got to shout out Nuggy because I just confirmed my suspicions were right. I thought this was 10-piece Nugget from last season on Spartans, and it is. So that's where we recognize Nuggy. Went a little bit shorter on the name this time around. So not 10-piece Nugget, but Nuggy now on Inferno. And definitely a great performance. And they're taking that one home. So congratulations. These are your Player of the Week winners. We got Nuggy from Inferno, Botsy from Distortion, Jeffrey for the Pious, Air Sweeney from the Blackhawks, Dre from Kiwis, and Smiler TJE. I don't know. Now I'm throwing the R in there. Smiler TJE from Dissonance there for the Divisional, who we will see very shortly here. And before we send merely to the Shadow Realm, shout out to Velatech for the 3-month resub. Much appreciated. Thank you for the support. A big shout out and ups to him there. So that being said, merely take care. Good having you on the Player of the Week.
I will now disappear into the void until about 9:30 EST. Goodbye, everyone.
There we go. All right, we'll see merely later. But now we got to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Puggles. We've been relegated to provisional Puggles yet again. They only let us cast the provisionals because we are so good, So we're back. We're back casting some provisional action as we have Dissonance taking on Jesters here. Puggles, how you doing? How you feeling about being relegated to some more provisional bangers?
I've been relegated once from Challenger down to Prospect, so in the casting, it feels not as great because this is what I love to do. But it's more provisional, so it's pretty interesting, and it's a lot of fun to see these lower leagues, battle it out.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. It is interesting. We'll put it that way. We love our new provisional players. A lot of them kind of moving all over the place. Some moving down from novice, some new to the league here, but I know Puggles, last time we casted the first ever provisional matchup, it did give us some entertainment though. Our minds were blown. I know I had a little bit of fun, seeing some provisional moments. Which apparently there's a new emote coming. I don't know if it's coming to the Twitch channel or just the Discord, but Crew's been working on provisional moment emote, so that could be coming. But we saw some provisional moments here, Puggles, and we got Dissonance here, and we got Gestures. What can you kind of tell us about these two teams, and maybe something that we could expect in tonight's action?
So let's just start off with the player that got the Player of the Week this past week, and it is Smiler JTE. As you've been saying. So, he plays for Dissonance. They're currently 2-0, going pretty well their first week. They had a 5-game series in their first one, and they swept the second team just right under the rug, not even close. Right now, they're the first overall seed in their division in the Western. And speaking of Western, they're going up against Jesters. Right now, they have a 1-1 record. They're the 4th seed in West, and they had a bit of a rocky start against Goats, but they were able to bounce back up against that Uprising team that gave Dissonance some trouble. So, this game, it's definitely going to be close. As it seems like Jesters, they're getting their footing back, and Dissonance, they started out pretty hot. So both of these teams going to be really interesting to see what goes on here.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And looks like we kind of got into the lobby. I'm going to get a prediction started up for the chatters. Oh, looks like prediction is going up from music as well. But I beat him to the punch, so a little bit too quick. Got to be quicker than that, But regardless, the predictions up here. You guys can get your predictions in. I know people are voting in the Discord as well. But Puggles, who you rocking with? Obviously, Dissonance undefeated so far, but Jesters, they had some performances as well this past week. The Discord, let's see, the Discord is rocking with. They are close here, Puggles. They're split down the center here. 24 for Dissonance, 21 for Jesters, with the two newest logos in Nemesis just added here. Who are you taking? Who are you taking in this one, Puggles, between these two teams?
You know what? Both of these teams played the same team of Uprising and Jesters. They took it pretty handedly, 3-0, where, Dissonance, they had some struggles with it, and it went all the way to 5. They were able to close it out, but, it's definitely going to be close. So I'm going to have to go with Jesters. They had the hot hand coming into this, and, they're looking pretty good. You gotta go with my boy Cow on Jesters, the big name from Novice last season. So yeah, I'm looking to Jesters, and I'm looking to Cowtarded to hopefully carry that team through this matchup.
Definitely, and he's going to be the one to watch for. He's leading the Divisional League in demos this season. 15 demos already this season, and only two matches here. And he's also leading in demos per game with 1.88. So we could see an explosive showing from him and the Jesters, but we will have to see. I think we got everyone in here, so we should be able to get them joined up and to get things going on here. So we'll have to see. And on the other side, Puggles, obviously we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching for Smiler TJE here. Apparently an EU legend coming out on the pitch here, so we will have to see as we're getting things underway. The players are on the pitch, and we're getting things underway here for this best-of-5 action in the Provisional League. We got Dissonance in the blue, and we got a goal coming through right away. Count Darden not even going to let me introduce the rosters. He is going to score early for the Jesters.
Yeah, so we're getting introduced to Cal right away as he takes it off the backboard and great follow-up, beating everyone in that blue color there. And, nobody on the defense was ready, and, maybe they're just not quite ready to play against a mechanical team like Cal yet. So we're going to have to look to see for some adaptations from both of these rosters to start off.
Yeah, definitely be watching out here as the players here. Maybe we can introduce them now here. We got to introduce the Cow there for the Jesters, but also joining him, Lasagna Man, the captain, and Koga, who I am struggling to recognize. I just looked at the rosters. Is this their new pickup in Ion Magen there? Or did they use a sub here? They may have threw a sub in there last minute on us. I'm not sure.
Time to take a look. I have no idea. Maybe he changed his name, and if so, that's very uncool of him.
That is true. Confusing the casters a little bit.
Oh, it is Ion Man. So that's him.
Okay, well, Coke is a lot easier to say. So
agreed.
I like that. I like that at least, Although we do have to get name changes submitted in player info update with a tracker. But here comes Smiler TJE, the player of the week, the rating, and he's going to tie things up in one piece.
Yeah, Lasagna Man coming back. He just goes through the net a little bit too quickly. Smiler, he had all the time in the world to pick his spot, and he picks the bottom left there in a great spot, and ties it up just under a minute. It's gone by so far, and both of these teams, they're not struggling to score.
Yeah, they really are not, and that's a little bit different than what we saw last time, Puckles. That game, that series was something. There were hardly any goals scored. But this one, oh my goodness, Cal was looking for the shot, but can't quite find it. These two teams are looking for it. Here goes another shot. Koga coming through, and we also see on the pitch Cyclone and Bradish. Cyclone coming back from last season, I believe, was on Diffusion at the end of things. But Bradish new here as the captain for Dissonance, and we'll definitely be keeping our eye on these two rosters here as we're all knotted up at one early on in game number one. The Cyclone on the dribble. Cow looking for a touch there, but this one can be sent back into the corner. Lasagna Man clearing it out. Cyclone back for the touch, going to pop it up high. This ball up in the midfield. Koga trying to get to it there, but can't make a touch. And there's something Puggles, I know we just touched on Koga being added to the roster here, but something we didn't really talk about is that the special provisional draft is, well, we have to hold that thought here. Cow is scoring again there as a little feels backflip man happens.
Yeah, the feels backflip happens from at least one of them. The other guy just knew he wasn't getting up in time, so a little bit better rotations. They're both in the line there, but I mean, it's a great pop up from Cow, and if that's what it takes to score in this league, then I mean, just keep doing it if it's going to keep working.
That's true, but here comes the demo. The demo leader is back looking for some menacing plays there, trying to open up some space for his team. But back to my point here, Puggles, is there was a special provisional draft where this season started with 3-man rosters, but this Sunday, I guess this Sunday was yesterday. Yesterday we opened up a draft to add 4 people onto these rosters, and we're seeing the result out here on the pitch with Koga making an appearance for the Jesters.
Yeah, Koga recently added, and like you said, he's coming out pretty well. He's been in the right spots. He's been making the important touches that he needs. So, even if it's not showing up on the scoreboard, he's definitely being very impactful for his team, helping this team get transitions going and getting some clears.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see how the 4-man rosters are going to change things in the Provisional League a little bit here as new rosters try to adapt. And, the Jesters have a little bit of roster change. Usually starting with Wildcats Russ, but decided to go with Koga today. And right now they find themselves leading 2-1 here with a mid-30 lefties. Here comes another shot. Cow is putting in the hat trick. He is popping off here. He's got a third goal.
Yeah, a quick shot too, 68 miles per hour. And Cyclone, not quite wanting to go for that one, and he kind of left the net open a little bit, but a great shot there from Cow. It was just a rocket into the back of the net.
And Cow is really showing up here. Wasn't quite sure. We knew he was the demo leader, but he was also up there in some of these other stats that now are available for everyone to see here for this season. I know a lot of people are excited about that, and Cow is trying to put out a performance. He finds a dunk. Here comes Lasagna, man, off the post. It's dangling from the goal line, but it's saved away. And oh my goodness, Cow targeted a perfect setup there, but just couldn't quite finish it off.
No, he couldn't. It goes off both posts and then out, so calamity. But they're still up too, as this Jesters roster looks to close out the game with only a minute left. A huge flick from Bradish, but the opportunities, they're going to need to come soon, and right now they just got to find the back of the net.
This ball floating up, Smiler trying to get up to it. That was another huge opportunity, and Dissonance starting to put on some pressure. Cow is up, though, going to find a touch. Koga actually is going to be up there finding the touch. As this one sets it off. Cyclone trying to stop it and turn it back around. Ball off the sidewall, under 30 seconds now in game one. Dissonance need to find two. Need to at least find one quickly here if they're going to want a chance. This ball popping up. Smiler with a touch, trying to get in midfield, but Cow is going to clear it away. And really a last chance here for Dissonance as they're forced to retreat. Bradish going to make a touch, but it's just dropping right down. Need to find one with time remaining. This ball up, Cyclone going to pop it. Looking for something, but this ball going the wrong way. And that is going to do it here for game number one. The Jesters, Puggle's going to come out here and take this one 3-1, led by Cow with the Hattie.
Yeah, Cow, he did majority of the work here, getting the 3 goals, 2 saves, leading his team in saves as well, and he had the most shots, obviously, as he gets the 5 shots as well, so he's looking amazing. He's coming out to play, and his teammates, they just need to pick up where he's leaving off. They had the one opportunity that didn't quite go in, but I think as long as Cow is hitting his targets like he is right now, I think Jesters are looking very good. Looking very good to take this series here.
Yeah, we knew, like you said, they had one common opponent. The Jesters swept Uprising. Dissonance went to game 5 against them. So that's the only real relation we have besides now what we're seeing on the pitch. And yeah, Koga fit in well, but Cow was the one there for sure in that one. So it looks like I think we have maybe restarting the lobby real quick here. So give us a second. But a great first performance there from the Jesters, Puggles, and that's how you want to start things out here. You're going against an undefeated team from last week against a Western Conference rival. And for these teams, Puggles, the conferences, there's no division, so conference matches, are always going to be super important for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you were saying, the league isn't quite big enough to support that many teams. So, but they're like the same as the conference games for any other league. So they're very important in order to have those tiebreakers going into late of the season. So, very important to see where your seeding ends up and who you're going to be playing and once playoffs roll around.
Yeah, and definitely these teams trying to avoid the play-in tournament, which is still a thing in Provisional. It may have less teams, but the play-in tournament is still hanging around there in this one. So all these teams will make the play-in tournament at least, but the top 4 will guarantee themselves a playoff berth. So you get to avoid the play-in tournament, which I know all these teams are going to be hungry and fighting to do so. As you don't want to put yourselves in, you want to keep yourself away from as many winner go home scenarios as possible. So it's definitely something to keep our eyes on here, as the season is still young, only 14 matches, but still every match, I guess, Puggles, that's the one thing, less matches, every match just becomes even more important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For all these other leagues that have many seasons or many weeks, I think it's like 16. It's just when it comes down to this much smaller, every game means so much more. Every series becomes infinitely more important, and taking a big upset here for Jesters over the number 1 seed right now in their conference is going to give them a lot of confidence, no pun intended, moving on into later games.
Definitely will, and we're getting back into things here as we are into game number 2. We just saw the Jesters take game number 1, led solely by Cow's hat trick, and we're going to see if they can take a 2-0 series lead or if Dissonance can find a way to battle back here in this game number 2. And Puggles, as we get into things, as here comes Smiler send this one up. I'm curious, who are you looking for on this Dissonance roster to maybe step up and kind of combat Cow and give their team a little bit some life in game 2?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the obvious answer has to be Smiler, as he was the player of the week last week, and he was looking pretty good in game 1. Not quite able to find all of his marks, but it really comes down to his 2 other teammates to try and support him, be in the right spots, try to set up those opportunities. This one, it's just gonna roll in. British pops it over everyone, and nobody on Jesters thought it was going in.
Yeah, Bradish just sends this one towards the net. Koga can't quite get to it, and Bradish doesn't even touch it again. It just goes right in there. So Dissonance going to find the lead, and I believe it's their first lead of this series, and an excellent start to game number 2 for them. Is now Koga on the dribble here, trying to make something happen. Gonna find a 50 through, but only sent off to the side. Bradish popping this one up. Smiler gonna connect out in the midfield, but Cow is waiting and he is shooting. He read that one like a book and put it in the back of the net for his 4th of this first 2 games.
Wow, a great shot there, as the mistouch there comes out from Smiler, and it just goes right out to Cow, and Cow's itching to put that one in right above the defender. The defender caught flat-footed, and now a very quick tie-up, and we're back in the same place as we were last time with just under a minute gone.
Yeah, we saw a very close game until the end, and here comes Bradish putting it in the back of the net, and it'll take a little bit of a different turn this time as Bradish finds the second.
Yeah, but you gotta look at that great bump from Cycle as he just takes out Cow in the back in the net there, and nobody else was ready for it on the Jesters defense. They had all their trust in Cow, and unfortunately he just got sent to the shadow realm there. And now, a great response here from Dissonance to take the lead here.
Definitely. As Bradish trying to show Cow maybe he can find one more, can show him he can get a hat trick as well. But 2 big goals for his team here. This game number 2 is this ball gonna bounce off Smiler. Koga gonna find a touch. And Cyclone gonna leave it for Smiler. Smiler chasing it down. Koga send it back in the Dissonance half. Bradish gonna get it by 1, but Koga waiting, shooting. But Smiler to the corner now. So we reach under 3 minutes remaining in this game number 2. Dissonance find themselves in the lead, looking to tie this series up here as they send it back in the zone. Cow on the touch here. Here goes Smiler looking for a shot, but Lasagna Man is back just in time as he's able to clear that one away. Cyclone up in the midfield. Koga looking for the shot. This ball popping up high, but the Jesters a little bit too far back, but Cow gonna make a touch here. This one's sent down, and Puggles, after watching Cow last season, he was on Genesis at the very end. He looks very mechanical. I know he technically dropped down a league to Divisional, but he's looking pretty mechanical here.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he's very speedy in the air too. Something that I've noticed between both games that we've played or that we've casted is that the Provisional League doesn't really get up in the air as fast and as often, but when you have a player like Cow that's willing to go up super high towards the ceiling, it really just makes it so much easier for your 2 teammates to try and play the ground game and just play smart and hopefully get those open nets when they come up from Cow.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and you're right, we did see that as, oh my goodness, here comes Lasagna Man looking for the shot. Koga trying to keep it in. Cow diving, looking for the 50, but Cyclone, a menace there in that car. I don't even remember what that car is called as Cow's taking a shot towards the net. Maybe we can get some quick research. That's a throwback car, Puggles. That's back when they introduced Wasteland, I remember. I don't remember what the car is called. Do you happen to remember? Is it the Ripper?
I do know. It is called the Ripper, yes.
Okay.
When they brought in Wasteland and they had that DLC way back in the day when the first came out.
Now that is a throwback, and you don't see that car actually almost ever. So Cyclone rocking it, trying to will his team here to this Game 2 victory. So we're down to a minute remaining. Here comes Bradish looking for the hat trick. Can he find it? No, a huge save on the goal line. Koga was ready for it. I thought for sure that was the hat trick there for him, but a huge save.
Yeah, a big save there from Jesters, keeping this game within 1. That's so important, as they need to tie it up here to at least force overtime. But, if that goal goes in, they needed to score with time remaining. Now they can score with 0 seconds left as long as the ball stays up, and that's just so important here moving into the final seconds.
We're down with 30 seconds remaining. Jesters trying to find one. This ball back in the distance zone. Lasagna Man can't connect. Cow trying to keep the pressure, throwing it high off the backboard. Lasagna Man looking to find a read off the backboard. A little bit awkward, but Koga not quite ready to dive in on that one as Dissonance wasting away valuable time. Back in the Jester zone, Cyclone gonna make a touch, still keeping this one of the Jesters. Gotta try to turn it around. Lasagna Man, a savior medal, but Jesters are so awkward, and I'm pretty sure they're starving to boost here. Koga gonna try and take it the length. This one off the backboard. Bradish looking for the hat trick, but he can't find it. The ball hanging on the edge, that close to a hat trick, but it doesn't matter. Dissonance shuts it down. They get the game win. No hat trick, but they will tie this series up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, Bradish, he almost got it this time, but still an amazing performance. He had he had a total of 2 very close chances. That last one there with the double, and another one that he just put right on top of Koga. So unfortunately, that one didn't go in either. But Dissonance, this is the response they needed. Bradish, he's looking good. He's trying to step up, take his team forward in the season, try and keeping them undefeated. And Jesters, we need to see Cow step up again, or Lasagna Man. He had 2 phenomenal opportunities, one right off the start of the game with that air dribble that he just wasn't able to find the back of the net. And you really got to be hitting those shots, especially in this league where opportunities don't come very often.
Yeah, definitely so here. And yeah, we talked about wanting to see Smiler step up, but it was Bradish who had the huge performance there. The captain trying to will his team here back in this series, and a great performance from him. And now we're heading into a crucial game number 3, Puggles, where whoever wins this one is going to put themselves 1 win away from taking this series. So I'm curious here. Do you think, I know you kind of mentioned you want to see something from Lasagna Man or maybe Cow step up. What do you see? What are you seeing from Koga? I want to bring it over to him. Obviously, the new player on the roster, and they probably only played with him very recently. But do you think they stick with Koga here? I know they have been playing with Wildcats Russ for a lot of the season here. Do you think Koga, they're going to stick with him?
So far, I think he's been serviceable. I have not seen Rust play yet, so I can't tell you which team I would prefer to watch for this specific roster. But Koga, he's definitely been in the right positions at the right time, setting up his 2 teammates, and hopefully, providing very good, comms, something behind the scenes that we can't really tell. And those are just equally as important, if not more important, than the play that is out on the field. Because if you're losing and you're with a guy that has terrible mentality, then you're just going to have a terrible time as compared to when you're winning with someone that's just has a great mentality.
Yeah, definitely so. And they are going to stick with Koga. I was a little bit curious to see if they make a change here, but they're going to stick with it. That one almost found its way through from the corner. And yeah, that's something these players, have yet to deal with. They had an entire preseason with 3-man rosters. They had the first 2 matches with 3-man rosters, but now with 4-man rosters, they got a little bit of roster controversy in pretty much all of these teams, whether that be good, bad, whatever, however you may feel about it. It does give these teams something to think about, and they're going to rock with it. The Jesters will, as they were able to take game 1, but dropped game number 2, as now this ball up in the midfield. Koga got to find the save, send this one back. The Smiler finds a touch. Cow gonna win this one out. Cyclone off the sidewall there. Lasagna Man pop this one up. A huge demo from Cow. Could open up some space. Koga is there looking for the shot off the backboard. Koga for the double tap. Oh my goodness, Koga! He puts it in. What a double tap.
Wow. I don't think we'll ever see that ever again in Divisional. What a double there. The angle so spot on. It's such a small angle to hit, and he makes it look so easy, and you got to give credit where credit is due to Cow as well. Getting that demo, confusing the back line, but just a great double to put it away, and now we got to look to Dissonance to respond once again here in this series.
And now I feel like I gotta apologize, Puggles, for asking if they should sub Koga out here and go back to what they played with the first two matches, as we got rule one here, Smiler and Lasagna Man, so momentary 2v2, but a Koga really showing up there and putting out a performance. And this one shot towards the open net. Cow is gonna get another goal, a second on the board in the momentary 2v2.
Yeah, great opportunity here from Cow, just reading that that the two players were pushed up a little bit too far, as we see the players paying respects to each other for the rule one. So class all around from both sides here.
You gotta respect the rule one compliance there, as you do. And they stuck it out there, sticking nose to nose, allowing the 2v2, and well, good karma for both of them, I guess, as the Jesters find themselves up 2-0, looking for something else. Koga finding a dunk. This one sent off to the side. Cow on the pop here, trying to set it up. Lasagna Man diving in, can't connect. Cyclone looking to clear it out as we're approaching the halfway point of this game. The Jesters are holding on to this 2-goal lead, and we're going to have to look to see if Dissonance, they've had some shots here, Puckles, but just haven't quite been able to connect with the back of the net yet.
No, not quite. They're only at 3 shots right now, all of them from Bradish. So we got to see his two teammates step up a little bit more, Cyclone and Smiler. Smiler, he just got Player of the Week, and he's been looking a little quiet so far, so we got to look to him to hopefully step up, as Cyclone almost going to put one away, but it's going to get saved away there by this green team.
That one, it almost looked like it was a calculated fake there. They drive past it and let the second man shoot. But it doesn't quite work out here. Dissonance, they're trying to put the pressure on. Smiler can't connect. This one sent back in Dissonance half. The Cyclone taking to the sidewall, can't quite collect that boost and the ball, as Koga going to send it back in as the time starting to tick down here for Dissonance. Down by 2 goals. And still looking for the first one of this game 3. It's a series tied up 1-1. Lasagna Man, oh my goodness, he's pulling out his own teammates there. A little bit sketchy. He's trying to go for the back pass. He's going to set it down. Bradish got to race back there just in time to get the touch, but that was almost a dangerous moment there. Fortunately, Lasagna was able to get under control.
Yeah, he absolutely balled Koga there, and Cow, oh, never mind. Lasagna Man, he's going to come up, strike early, as, the defense, they're just kind of waiting around. Cyclone trying to imitate Lasagna Man himself, and nobody was quite ready for Lasagna Man to just dive in and get that huge dunk there.
Yeah, and you could see Smiler wasn't quite sure what to do with the back pass, and he wasn't expecting, like he said, Lasagna Man to put the pressure on, and the pressure worked there as a 3-0 lead now here in game 3. This ball popped up. Oh my goodness, Bradish just bumped into the ball. That's unfortunate there. But a huge bump from behind puts him out of position and causes an error in touch. I'm not quite sure who got that bump, but you have to reckon it might be Cowtarded, the demo leader there, looking for another one. But now the final 40 seconds, Koga with a double tap off the backboard there. This one sent back. Cow can make a touch to the corner. Dissonance got to try to find 3 here, but with the time dipping under 30 seconds, they may just have to regroup on Forbidden Temple for game 4, Puggles.
Yeah, this game, it's not looking too great, and right now this is when you really want to get a goal, get some really good offensive pressure, make sure you don't give up anything that's too unnecessary, and try and feel and prod your way to a goal to see what will hopefully work in the following game here, as time is going to tick down. It is going to go to Jesters here as they take a 2-1 series lead, and now they have the opportunity to close it out here on Forbidden Temple, like you stated.
Yeah, as the ball finally touches the ground, and Jesters 1 win away here from taking this series, looking to shut down the undefeated run of Dissonance, who you started out the season strong at 2-0, but the Jesters here looking to battle back there. As this one, everyone got on the board, Puggles, for the Jesters there. They all contributed pretty much evenly. Koga had an assist and a couple saves, got a little bit higher score in that last game, but all in all, Jesters, when you got everyone contributing like that, it can be kind of scary and kind of difficult to stop when the other team has just got it all cooking.
Yeah, it really is difficult to stop, especially if you're on the defending side for Dissonance. They only had 4 shots that entire game, So they were on the back foot for most of it, and those opportunities that they had, they just couldn't quite take advantage of. So you really got to look to them to try and break out a little bit more, and just get more pressure onto this Jester's defense, because that last game they weren't tested very much.
Yeah, they really weren't there on that one. The saves were even, but it did. I do agree with you that they weren't tested enough on the back end, and I think could see a couple more shots come through from everyone on the board. Bradish had those 3 shots, Cyclone with 1, so really not too many shots on net. So as we head into Game 4 on Forbidden Temple, Dissonance, they gotta dig a little bit deeper here. They gotta find that offense that they had in that second game, and again, it's kind of crazy because a lot of times we see these series that may go the distance, going back and forth. We saw Jesters win Game 1, we saw Dissonance win Game 2, and then Jesters win Game 3, and now it's time for Dissonance to answer back, and they're trying to put the pressure on early there with a demo, but not quite able to find anything as we're underway in Game 4.
Yeah, we are, and if you really want to look to Dissonance, they gotta score first here. I say it so many times, and people are gonna get so upset. You gotta score first, and Koga with the huge air dribble from his own half. He's looking to do that, and he's given his team the early advantage here.
And Koga, the pickup there from the special draft there, as the 4th player on the roster, they had room to pick him up with, Wildcats Russ being, I believe, only 907 on the MMR-wise, so they had room to pretty much pick up anyone that they wanted, and they found a diamond in the rough here in Koga, and that just goes to show you that there can often, Puggles, be times that there are just free agents sitting there who could absolutely peak on kids if you give them the chance.
Yeah, Koga definitely making that a statement, but I don't even know what happened there. It's just whiff after whiff here. Provisional moment, put it in the chat. I know we don't have an emote yet, but 3, 4 misses, and Smiler just has an open net to put it away at.
That's what we're looking for, Puggles. That's what we wanted to see. Some provisional moments there as everyone goes flying by. We had a lot of those in the first ever provisional match. Not so many in this one. I'm impressed with the performance and I guess the difference between those teams that we saw and these 2 teams. So shout out to these guys for putting on a good performance. Not quite in that moment, but Smiler going to find, I believe, their first goal of the series as they're trying to set up another one. Here goes Bradish, but it's going to be blocked away by Cow. And now Dissonance answer right back. And, Puggles, if you're not going to score first here in this game where you need to win, able to answer back almost immediately is huge for the momentum's sake.
Yeah, it really is, but they're still working at a disadvantage. Scoring first just allows you more time to, you figured out what worked one time. Maybe you're able to repeat it again. In this case, Koga just mechanically outdoing everyone. And I think Jesters, they have that capability to out mechanic Dissonance here, but they're just going to need to find those opportunities and make them count.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about capitalizing when you get the chance here. And in Game 4 in Forbidden Temple, we need to see some of that and see if some more Forbidden Temple craziness happens, like the 4-mana whiff there, leading to the Smiler goal. Time runs on. Lasagna Man off his backboard, going to clear this one out of the midfield. Koga sending it down. Cyclone controlling in the corner here. Cyclone up, looking to find an air dribble, going to find a 50. He's trying to find a second one, but Lasagna Man diving through. Bradish gonna find a touch, but this ball is dangerously in the midfield. Here comes Cow, but it runs out of boost there on the aerial. Had the speed, but just not enough boost. And as we approach halfway here and pass halfway, Puggles, we are still tied at 1 apiece. Both these teams looking for some good opportunities, but it seems like the Jesters starting to get a little bit more of them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been threatening the net a little bit more than Dissonance has, as They just have the ball possession so much, and Koga looking for another goal, but not able to find it as Cyclone is able to stand big in the net. And no, Lasagna Man, he gets a cake of a goal here as he just pinches it off the sidewall and it goes in.
Yeah, and I think they lost. Who was that? I know Smiler's last one recently. I think they lost Cyclone on the rotation there. It just got caught a little bit out. Wasn't expecting a pinch right back in the middle, as that one is going to go back of the net for Lasagna Man, and a tough way to lose the lead here, or lose the tie. but with under 2 minutes remaining, Dissonance, they got to find a way to battle back and fight for another goal here. Puckles with 140. I guess what do you got to do, Puckles? What are you telling your boys if you had a chance to give them some advice in this final minute and a half?
They got to get out of their own half, Rocket Man. Put it simply, they need to get it out, but right now they're being starved boost-wise. They're being starved possession-wise. They just need to get one big clear, and they're pretty much looking at a great opportunity to hopefully at least counterattack and set up some pressure of their own.
Yeah, and the Jesters are doing just the opposite here. They're trying to give them no space to breathe as the ball is finally going to leave the Dissonance half, but only momentarily. As I say, that cow keeps it back in. Lasagna Man with the demo. And they are trying to suffocate this Dissonance squad here and send this series to bed. As now we're down to 50 seconds remaining. Dissonance on this one. Smiler going to find a touch. Finally into the zone. Smiler trying to set it up, but Koga going to find a touch. It's a ball out of midfield. Cow going to send it down. 40 seconds now. Dissonance got to find something. They find a demo there. That's going to open up some space. Here comes Bradish. What can Bradish do here? Trying to get around. Koga can't quite connect. He's looking for the hook shot, but wasn't able to connect. Now we're under 30. This ball up in the midfield. Cow sending it in. Cyclone on the control here. Lasagna Man finds a 50. This ball sent back. Gestures racing back, trying to defend. Bradish is up. The shot towards it. Cow finds a touch, but Cyclone gonna try to turn it back in as the final 10 seconds here of this game. Dissonance need to find a goal the first OT. This ball up. Koga, he's sending it a long way. And Dissonance gonna need a miracle. Gotta take it the length of the pitch. Here comes Cyclone. Trying to take it up. A Cow dives in. Sending it back in the Dissonance corner. They can't connect to it, and the Jesters are going to steal this one away in Game 4, and they're going to take down the undefeated Dissonance, both now going to 2-1 on this season, Puggles.
Yeah, they are, and Jesters, they looked great doing it. They had standout performances from every player here, as Lasagna Man, he's the one to take it this game, and I mean, just outstanding performance individually from everyone, and I mean, GG's all around. But Dissonance, they didn't look too bad losing there. They definitely have a few, like one or two things to work on in my mind. But I'm very confident that this team is going to be, hope at least play-ins, because everyone makes plans. But
yeah,
you're definitely a team to be looking out for in the upcoming games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. To go 2-0 on the first week, it's still impressive. Unfortunately, they fall tonight, but the Jesters, they just had that dog in them, Puggles. They were feeling good tonight, and, I think pretty much we saw everyone contributing, and I think that was probably the difference there. We need to see a little bit more, I think, from Cyclone and Smiler to step up for their team in that one, and, sometimes it's just not your day, and that happens. That's why you got the regular season. That's why you get a chance to play in the postseason, so a chance to regain going forward, but yeah, that is going to wrap it up for this one here as the Jesters take down Dissonance here 2-1. So congratulations to them on the victory. And yeah, we are going to be heading to a short break. But when we come back, we are heading to our next matchup, the 8:45 on the night. We have the Titan League. We're back at it in the Titan League. Venganza making their second straight stream appearance here after taking down Vanguard last Wednesday. They're back on the stream now to take on the Godfathers, who have put together a great season so far. I know Sans is excited and has been excited about this Godfathers roster. They're 4-2 on the season, taking on Venganza, who are 5-1. That matchup is coming up in just a few minutes, so make sure you stick around and come back for that one, and we will see you guys in a few.
Bending over backwards just to let you in. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. But you were calling me a liar, 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 liar. I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down to now and now and now and now and never. could fight in the things that you said. I don't wanna burn all our bridges ahead. I'm tired of going to bed when you left me on red just to turn up the noise in my head. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. But you were calling me a liar, 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 liar. I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down to now and never. I was putting in the putting in the
Got wandering eyes that I seem to follow. Can only stay still for some time. I've never aligned with
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Nemesis Gaming League, where the grind continues. We are back for our second match of the night, and we are climbing all the way up to the tippy top. We're going to the Titan League. Your boy Psychonautic is in the booth, and I am ready to get this thing rolling. Joining me here in the booth tonight, somebody who is climbing the commentator ranks and probably going to kick my butt in our match later on. Iroza, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to be casting the Titan game of the week too.
Yeah, this is going to be a banger, I believe. We've got the Godfathers going up against Venganza. And looking at the standings over in the Mountain League, these guys are neck and neck. Venganza actually holding the number one spot in the division, but Godfather's right on their heels. Venganza's got a 5-1 record. Godfather's got a 4-2 record, but really what separates them is 3 losses on their game record. Venganza with a 15-5, and Godfather's with a 15-8. So as you can see, Iroza, this should be a pretty good matchup here.
I really think that it's going to be a lot closer than some people expect. That's going to be my little input before we see anything go down.
Yeah, and you know, I've been hearing around the rumor mill that a lot of people are going in favor of Venganza here. I'm going to just pull up the little survey, the Discord survey real quick, if I can get to it. I'm absolutely out of my gourd today. There we go. Looks like 15 in favor of Godfathers and 33 in favor of Venganza. But you know, I think that might be a little bit of a sleeper thing there. If you don't ask me, Iroza, I think it should be a little bit closer as far as the voting goes. What do you think?
I strongly agree. There's nothing else that you could say other than the best way to put it would probably be is that Godfathers are being underlooked. I feel like they can definitely climb their way to the top of the mountain Western Conference, and I see no issues from them other than obviously Venganza, which obviously is going to give them a run for their money. But I feel like Godfathers will pull it out on top today.
Okay, well, I was just about to throw it to you for the prediction. But I guess that you gave it to me there. You think Godfathers are going to take this one? I'm going to have to agree with you. I also think Godfathers are going to win this. And, you know, that's a little bit uncharacteristic for me. Venganza is actually my Victory org, is my home org. And I always root for these boys. But I got to say, Arrow, Dylan, and iTrash, this roster is looking hype. But Shylin, trying to start things off for Venganza, looking for a bit of a mechanical play, but can't get the double tap. Skittles pops it up, gets it through too, but Arrow off of the backboard, gonna make a stop there. Shylin making a play in the midfield, up to Dez. Dez getting mechanical with it, looking for the backboard double. Can't get it through. Shylin trying to finish it out, but Godfather's remaining strong on the defensive line. Dylan trying to get control. Arrow up with it with the shot. Looked like it might have been a little bit high. Shylin gonna send it away regardless. iTrash keeping the pressure up for the Godfathers here in the first minute. It seemed at first, Iro, that Venganza was really going to start running away with it, but when the Godfathers got control of that ball, they just started a chain reaction of offense.
That was a really close shot. Nice denied by Dylan. But like I was about to say, I feel like Godfathers, if they could just take offense into their own hands, they have the ability to keep constant control of this ball. If they, what a nice demo.
There it is.
Shot for Arrow.
There it is. Just as you spoke it, it's like they heard you, Iroza, and they said, we're going to get this done. Dylan getting a heavy 50 in the midfield and then getting in front of that ball, getting the demo play, opening up the lane for Arrow to get an easy shot in the open net. And you got these 17, 18, 1900 cats are going to put in an open net every single time. Godfather's starting us off In this best of 5 series, 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time for Venganza to pick up the pieces, get something going. Trash looking for the shot, but the Venganza is going to make the stop there. And both of these teams, man, I got to say, it looks like Godfathers is not having to do as much in the defensive zone as Venganza is, Irosa, but Venganza is not slouching at all.
They only had one little mishap, but that was because of constant pressure from Godfathers. If Venganza can just kind of even up the playing field, they need to stop sitting back so much. It can make it a lot closer, but they need to stop giving possession away so quickly.
And we are nearing the halfway point of game number 1. Dylan with the long shot from the midfield. Shylin going to get in front of that one. Easy stop for him. Arrow still with the ball. Gets the second touch, but can't get it through the defense. Skittles going to bat it away. Skittles puts it up. Trash back to make the stop. Dez in the corner, but he gets bumped by Trash. Arrow getting bumped by Dez. Shylin trying to get it through in the chaos. Dylan holding fast and strong on that defensive line, and it's going to allow Godfathers to get the clear. Dez is there in the midfield, gets it past Arrow. Dylan back. Dylan having to avoid the bump. He's going to leave it for Trash. Trash going to get just smashed in between two of Venganza's players as Arrow's going to pop it up. Arrow looking for the shot. He gets it, but shoots it right at Skittles. Trash can't get it past the crossbar. And Dez trying to get the ball cleared out. And that was a scary moment for Venganza, Irosa. They cannot allow this Godfathers roster to go up by 2.
I feel so bad for Skittles. He looked like a one-man band against all 3 of Godfather's players, but he was able to hold on for just long enough as he gets another save right there, saving his team from a 2-0 deficit. All they have to do is just work together better on defense. Just like this, they can slowly move the ball up the field, but unfortunately, they were quickly denied by the Godfathers.
Venganza with 7 saves in between them. Skittles got 3, Shylin 2, Dez 2. All these guys are looking to get savior medals. I don't know if that's good or that's bad. I definitely got to commend them for the amazing defense that they're pulling off here. But getting just attacked the way that they are, eventually Godfathers are going to break through, as we saw that they already did. But in this last 60 seconds, they're going to be looking to break through a second time, looking to secure that 2-goal lead, so that way they can ease up a little bit and just try and run down the clock. Shylin taking control. Trash there in the midfield. Dez gets it past him. Dez still with it. Sends it out to the mid. Dylan is there for it. Out of the corner. Dylan going to turn off. Arrow there, but his shot goes wide. Trash can't get it through. Shylin going to get his savior medal. Dylan still with it in the corner. Gets it through. Dez gets it past Shylin. Skittles going to try and take it away. Arrows to put the shot up to the mid. Shylin going to beat out Trash to that ball. In the final 10 seconds now. Coming down to this. Can Venganza get it? Dez is there, but Arrow to get it around him. Shylin pops it up. Trash going to try and just waste the clock down here. Godfathers going to be your winners of game number 1.
Man, everybody says, in sports like basketball and football and hockey, all these other sports, that the best offense is a good defense. Unfortunately, in Venganza's case, they had solid defense. 2 of them with goalie medals, but they need at least 1 goal on the board.
Yeah, that's where they messed up. And if you're looking at the shots, Godfathers with 12 shots to Venganza's 6. They doubled the amount of shots that Venganza was able to put on net, but Venganza looked deadly whenever they were able to actually sustain a little bit of offense. It seemed like if they can actually sustain it, that they're going to be able to break down the Godfathers defense and they're going to be able to get through it. But we just didn't see Godfathers have to play that much defense. In the very beginning of the match, yeah, they did. Venganza seemed like they came out just guns blazing. But as time went on, Godfathers slowly took control of that offensive pressure and just didn't relinquish it.
All it's going to take this game is just a little momentum booster from Venganza. They can easily bring it back. They just can't sit in their half so much.
Game number 2, will Venganza be able to do just that? Or is Godfathers going to go up 2-0 in the series, sticking themselves At match point, Dylan almost starting things off for Godfathers. His shot gonna bounce off the post. Trash hits the ball but isn't able to follow it. Arrow getting dunked out, but Dylan there. Shylon trying to get it through. It's gonna bounce off of the post and out. Unfortunate for Venganza, but they have to keep up the pressure here. Skittles trying to get the ball out to the mid. Godfather's gonna take it away from him. But the ball's still in the mid. Dez gonna get a demo on Trash as he clears it across the line. Shylon off the sidewall, gets it past Arrow, down to Skittles, who has a shot, but Trash is back. Trash gonna send it to the mid. Trash still sticking with it, getting doubled, or double teamed, I should say, but he's gonna 50 and remain strong. And right now, Iroza, we are seeing that same sort of gameplay that we saw early in game number 1. Venganza, are a lot heavier, but Arrow gonna get that goal. We don't see as much time go by before the Godfathers are able to score their first goal.
It was just a quick little double commit. Maybe could have been picked up from a lack of comms, but Dylan was also looking so menacing within that play that he could have demoed either one of them. It was so hard to tell and well executed by the Godfathers.
Yeah, this team is starting to seem, I don't want to say unstoppable, but all three of these players, Dylan, Trash, and Arrow, all seemingly have their place on this team. Dylan, is just a madman in the midfield. Oh my goodness, Trash! Gonna sneak that one into the corner.
Unfortunate. It wasn't even much of a sneak. It was more of a pass to the other team that just wasn't expecting it.
Whew. Them Titan level doubles, I'll tell you what. Man, I can't believe that he was able to hit that. I'm curious to know now if Dez wasn't there, if the ball had still gone in or if it was going to be out. But unfortunately, we'll never know. Godfathers now up by 2. They've got that cushion lead much earlier in game number 2 than they did in game number 1. Arrow with the flip reset. He's still with the ball. He's trying to get it through, but Skittle's going to take it away from him. Arrow's well known in the Nemesis League for popping off in stream matches, hitting clips. I mean, just in general, a lot of people hit clips, but to hit a clip in a streamed match for Nemesis is something that not everybody can do. Arrow is somebody who has consistently done that. We almost see him doing it again. And we saw, just shout out Venganza as well, Aroza. We saw Dez attempt several mechanical plays so far. I can tell that guy's definitely able to get some nice shots out. Arrow looking for the flip reset shot.
This Venganza's team, they have the mechanics that they need to pull off a win, but they just need to be able to get the ball in the back of the net. Godfathers have been doing everything possible, and it's working to keep them out of even their half. The ball's barely been out of the white half due to the fact that Godfather's midfield play has just been nearly perfect.
Yeah, they have been.
All Venganza needs to do is just find a way. I'm not saying it's impossible, but they just need a way to get it out of their own half, and they can start making big plays.
Yeah, and they've got 2 minutes left on the clock. They need 2 goals, but it's definitely possible. You can get 2 goals in a matter of seconds. The first one going to come through. Dez finding the pass from Shylon in the mid.
It was a beautiful, read it off the corner, just put it around Dylan, couldn't do anything about it, and Trash was just too slow to the ball.
And that's quite unfortunate for the Godfathers, but they do still have 1 point lead. Minute 45 left on the clock. Venganza back in this game, cutting that lead in half. And looking like they might have a play right here. Dez sent it down. Skittles is there, but Dylan with a huge save. It's not going to matter as Shylon is able to clean that play up. We now got a tie ball game in game 2.
That was almost the biggest highlight save of almost Nemesis, I would say. If he wouldn't have hit it right into Shylon, if he just had a little bit more power, that would have been perfect. But luckily, Venganza was able to capitalize to get a closer game.
Yeah, that was one of those situations where, you're just lucky to be in front, or maybe not in the Titan League, but in the lower leagues, that was one of those situations where you're just lucky to be in front of the ball in time, and you know where the ball goes and how much power it is completely in the hands of the Rocket League gods. You just got to put your car in the position and hope and pray that it works out for you, which unfortunately it looked like it was Dylan there. It did not work out for him. He did get that amazing save, but it just went right back into the hands of Venganza. 60 seconds left on this clock, tied up at 2. Game number 2. We now have a game or a match on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, as Venganza are able to break back into the competitive side. Shylin in the midfield. Arrow taking it away. Arrow sticking with it, looking for a pass out to Dylan. Pops it up. Arrow's up, but Skittles is going to beat him to the ball. Trash out of the corner. Dez is there, gets the touch off of the ceiling. Down to Dylan, who's there, but he can't get it through. Shylin going to play heavy defense against him. Arrow with the touch down to the mid. Shylin there for the clear. Up to Dez, who puts it almost on. That's going to bounce off of the crossbar just a little bit too high. The final seconds ticking down now before we move on to overtime. Will either of these teams be able to score a final goal and take a win here in regulation? Or are we going to see a game overtime in game number 2? Oh my goodness, this is dangerous. Whoa, that ball was just wildly floating towards the net. It is still up, and this could still be dangerous for the Godfather. Shylin sending it out to the mid. Trash gonna put it up off the crossbar. Doesn't make it in. Overtime in game number 2.
The bumps at the end. I couldn't see which player it was, but there was a player from the Godfather's half to finish it, but he just unfortunately ran into a Venganza player. Oh, that was so close. But hey, it was a great show, and we're ready for overtime.
We are ready for overtime indeed. Both of these teams chomping at the bit for this goal. Dylan is there. Shylin is as well. This is bad for the Godfathers. Trash able to get a great save from a backwards position. Arrow there to send it away. Skittles popping it back in. Venganza smelling blood in the water, looking to finish this out and tie up the series. Dylan out of the corner. Dez is there. Dez looking for the double touch. Trash gets up, but both of them gonna miss. Dylan to send it away to his corner, trying to keep the ball out from in front of the Godfather's net. Dylan again is with it. Shylin trying to find a pass, but it passes to Arrow. Arrow's just gonna bang that one on net. Skittles to take it away. Trash to Arrow. Arrow off the backboard. Oh, Skittles with a great save as the ball bounces off of the post, shutting down any further opportunity from the Godfathers. A minute 15 into this thing, Iroza, and neither of these teams are letting up. Both of these guys are full balls to the wall.
It's almost like the roles reversed from game 1 and even half of game 2. Most of the time, the ball's on the Godfathers half. Venganza's been having unsaved besides this little mishap. I missed what happened. I gotta see this again.
It looked like just the backflip from Skittles comes out. That is very, very unfortunate. Not something, honestly, that you see very often up here in the Titan League. But, you know, hey, mistakes happen. And especially in these high tension situations, like that was huge for Venganza right there. They really needed that win. Now they are in the position where they have to reverse sweep. They're going to have to get 3 wins in a row against Godfathers, and that's going to be pretty tough for them, Iroza.
I just like to say this one thing. For all of the lower ranks, the novice, prospect, challenger, you all saw that flip. It happens in the Titan League too. Don't get too down about it. But with this series, Venganza looked like they were starting to pick themselves back up, especially in that overtime. It was just a little flip that messed them up. They still could have this in the bag. They just need to get rid of any and all mishaps that they could. They need to go full blown, like you said, balls to the wall the entirety of the rest of the series.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Venganza not out of this at all. It's just getting 3 wins in a row. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to turn on the afterburners. If they've got any tricks up their sleeves, now's the time to pull them out. They got to do something because what they've been doing hasn't been working. Now, I understand game 2, that was amazing. I'm not trying to take that away from them. However, the end result was a loss for them. So they made a mistake. Hey, maybe it was just that mechanical mistake, but it didn't look like anybody else aside from Skittles was back. Maybe that's showing that they were trusting, and never mind. Let me just stop talking negatively because Shylin gonna start things off. Venganza not ready to give up.
Dylan with his unfortunate clears right to Shylin again. It's a repeat just about from last game where he just passes the ball to the other team, and his teammate, I believe that was Arrow, accidentally backflipped, giving Shylin a nice little slot into the top left corner.
Yeah, the mechanical error is starting to come out. I mean, you can tell by that how bad both of these teams want this win. The nerves are shaking them up. Arrow with the shot. Skittles gonna stop that one. And normally we see the stream nerves in game number 1, and then everything after game number 1 is pretty much just these 2 guys, going at it, or these 6 guys going at it. But it seems like as this series specifically has progressed, Dylan with the shot, Shylin to make that save. But it seems, Arosa, like as this has progressed, these players are getting more nervous.
I'm unsure as of how to put it, other than Venganza got a little shaken up after game 2. Obviously, Godfathers, right now they have nothing on their shoulder. They have nothing and everything at the same time. If they blow this easy 2-0 lead, do you know how much that's going to go against them?
Yeah, that's definitely not something that you want to do. They can give away 2 games and still get the dub. Obviously, they're going to want the sweep, or they can't get the sweep. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over myself. They want the sweep, but hey, a 4-1 win or a 3-1 win is still better than a loss. Even a 3-2 win is still better than a loss. But obviously a 3-0 is going to look the best. Dylan looking for the double tap, can't get it through, but Arrow gonna help him out. Godfather's gonna tie us up at 3 minutes and 12 left on the clock.
Dylan was just taking his time. Neither Skittles nor Dez could do anything about it, both in awkward positions, and his teammate just came in to finish up the mess.
That's exactly what they did. Godfather is going to clean it up every time you give him the chance. Dez looking for a carry. Gets it past one, but gets bumped. Can't beat the ball out as Arrow is going to clear it away past Skittles, and he's got an empty net. Shylin getting back just in time. This man's defense is amazing. The double commit coming out from the Godfathers, but they are not going to get punished for it. Dylan not able to get the second touch to get around Skittles. Trash pops it up. Trash still sticking with it, looking for Arrow in the midfield. Arrow finds the pass, but can't get it through. Once again, Shylin the brick wall, and oh man, the doink from Arrow almost coming out, but it's going to go wide halfway through game number 3 here. Things are starting to heat up. Venganza looking for Dez with the demo, but nobody else from Venganza there to capitalize on that play. Irosa, this is starting to get spicy.
Teams are starting to get gritty. They want it more and more as the time goes down. Godfather's aggression was so strong. It was just one accidental mechanical mistake, which led to Venganza getting a nice little counterattack. But they couldn't do anything with it. They need to be able to work as a team to fix to fill in the gaps, I should say, that have been on the field.
Ooh, and Dez with a big shot on the net. Will Venganza be able to fill in these gaps? Will Venganza be able to take back the lead? The first lead, I think. Maybe not. Maybe they had a lead. Maybe they had a lead in game 1. But Arrow not able to get that double through the defense yet again. Venganza's defense, they've got 10 saves in between them. This Venganza team is absolutely insane on the goal line. But if they just need to pump it up a little bit offensively to take this win, and they have to win this game right here, right now. If the Godfathers are able to pull out this W in the final 45 seconds of this game. They're going to send Venganza home with the L for tonight. Venganza has to win to stay alive here and force a game number 4. Trash. Sending it down. Dylan with the doink in the midfield. Skittles going to get to him before him. Skittles still with it. Skittles coming out of the corner. Dylan is there, though. Dylan with the demo on Dez as he rotated back. Pretty much, oh no, Dylan is back. I thought nobody was back from Godfathers, but Dylan was back as usual. Godfathers also, like I shouted out earlier, Godfathers are doing a really good job on defense as well. They just haven't been as forced in their defensive zone as Venganza has, and it looks like we are going to have us another OT unless Godfather's able to end it right here. Trash shot gonna go wide. Dez keeps it up. Dylan putting it back to the mid arrow. What is there? Oh my goodness. Shylin is able to get in front of it. Shylin with 5 saves. Dude, this is crazy. Overtime in game number 3.
Shylin's just a brick wall. He doesn't care what it takes. He'll do it. He doesn't want to see that ball in the back of his net. He wants to get this win so bad for his team.
I have to say, it's a man after my own heart. As a defensive player myself, I am highly impressed with Shylin's play here. And I honestly already knew, wow, what? Double bump? With the double bump, he came off of the carry, got the double bump. Unfortunately, Venganza wasn't able to capitalize off of that play. It might have been unintentional by Shylin, but it sure did look pretty cool as the ball gets popped up. Dez to send this one down. Arrow is up there with it, beating out Skittles. Trash is still sticking. Dez gonna 50 with him. Shylin is there, beats out Dylan. Shylin sends it down. Arrow's there waiting for it, but Arrow gonna get bumped off. This could be dangerous. Dez with the shot. Dylan gonna make the save. Almost own goals it, but it does bounce off of the bar and go out. Trash with a huge shot, putting it past 2 defenders on the counter attack, and Godfather's gonna sweep Venganza.
By the looks of it, the first player saw the ball go up and was like, that's gonna bounce off the post. Until the second player came in and saw that it wasn't. Beautiful finish by Trash.
Beautiful game from the Godfathers. Outstanding sweep from those guys. Unfortunate for Venganza. They played their heart out. They actually, maybe, I don't know how they feel about it. I don't know how everybody in the audience feels about it, but I feel like Venganza played pretty dang well. It was just one of those situations where it's like Godfathers were controlling the pace of the match pretty much through the entire thing. So as soon as they were ready to just heat things up, that's exactly what they did. Godfathers actually tying up I'm sorry, I'm losing my words right now. Tying up the standings in their division. Now both of those teams are 5-2. Is that right? Or maybe it's 5-1. 5-2.
Both teams
I
are
think
5-2.
Both teams 5-2. So that was a really, really big win for the Godfathers there. Last divisional match that they're going to have for a little while. But hey, huge win for them. Hats off to them. And dang, that was a spectacular match. It was a pleasure to be here.
Incredibly. And a lot of people are going to say, it was a 3-0 sweep, absolute dominance. Watching that game, the only difference between Godfathers and Venganza was offense. Venganza just couldn't get the ball out of their half for most of the series, which is what gave the Godfathers the upper hand. If you look at the individual scores per game, they were all 1-point games. That's still incredibly close, even if you see it as a 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, it was a really, really close game. Godfathers just, putting in that little extra effort. And I don't even really want to say that they put in the extra effort, dude, because freaking Venganza had 10 saves, 7 saves, 9 saves. Like, they just were going crazy on defense, but it just wasn't enough. The Godfathers' offense was so suffocating that it was just a matter of time, and they not only did, they just keep the offense going, but they just didn't allow Venganza to get out of their half very much. They shut them down in the midfield. time and time again, and that's a recipe for a win every single time. You control the midfield, you just put on that offensive pressure, and eventually the strongest defense in the world is going to break.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up our second match of the night. We're going to go to a short break. If you need to use the bathroom, refill your drink, get some popcorn, do whatever you need to do, take a little snack or run around the block to get that blood flowing again. Whenever we come back, we're going to be going back down to me and Iro's league, the Novice League. You won't be seeing us play, unfortunately, but we will be seeing the Pawns, the 4-2 Pawns, go up against the 4-2 Spitfires. So should be another neck-and-neck match. Both of these teams are at each other's throats, for lack of a better terminology. I think it's going to be a good one. So we'll be right back after this match for some more Nemesis Rocket League.
I don't wanna wait for a storm that ain't coming, or hide from the sun in the morning. I don't wanna run something I can't fight, but I gotta be careful with what I call mine. I know you too well. I'll climb up on the roof and yell. I've learned all that I know, and we put on quite a show. I'd be lying if I said I'm coming back. I just wanna go, I wanna walk away. Never wanted to love you anyway. Guess I should've known, won't pick up the phone. Go on and watch me fade. When you see the lights faded in the night, know that I'm fine alone. I'll be running for the skyline, sun in my eyes. No music, but I'm dancing. I'll be running, I'll be running by, I'll be running, I'll be running down, I'll be running, I'll be running by. I'll be running. I'll be running for the skyline, sun in my eyes. Skyline, sun in my eyes. Skyline, sun in my eyes. No music, but I'm dancing. I can see the end now, almost in my memory. No more waiting for a sign now. It's time for me to leave. As the world closes on the door of what we came to be, I regret nothing. I can set my mind free. I know you too well. I'm up on the roof and yeah, I've learned all that I know, and we put on quite a show. And I'd be lying if I said I'm coming back. I just wanna go, I wanna walk away. Never wanted to love you anyway. Guess I should've known, won't pick up the phone. Go on and watch me fade. When you see the lights fading in the night, know that I'm fine alone. I'll be running for the skyline, sun in my eyes. No music, but I'm dancing. I'll be running. I'll be running by. I'll be running. I'll be running down. I'll be running. I'll be running by. I'll be running. I'll be running for the skyline, sun in my eyes. Skyline, sun in my eyes. Skyline, sun in my eyes. No music, but I'm dancing.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to yet another matchup, the final one for the night. We'll be heading into the Novice League, and I am joined here by the most magical of pizza toppings in Nemesis. What's going on, Magic Pep?
Not much. It's good to be back in the booth after a week of no internet. So it's a little rusty. We'll see how it shakes off heading into the Novice League. We got some big names ready to clash on stream and really an important matchup in division. So we'll see who takes a crucial hold really of their division because it's a very tight division right now.
Yeah, a lot of pretty big names in Nemesis in this one in the Novice League. Pawns going up against the Spitfires here, holding the same record actually at 4-2, and both of them are also at 1-1 in division matchups. So like you said, this is going to be a big one to see who does manage to squeak out the division. And I gotta take it to you. You know, I know these players. It looks like pretty even teams, but what's the difference makers in this matchup, Magic?
I mean, for one side, it's got to be removing Pillow for the Pawns. I mean, he's the highest MMR player on their team by a substantial margin, and he's got to be the catalyst for their team to get going early on, not really fall asleep at the wheel because they got swept on Monday in by their one of the other divisional matchups they had. They played the Vandals and got swept, so they got to start off hot and not fall behind, or they'll be on the fast road back to 0-3 in another matchup. And you got to go with North on the other side. North is him. He's the guy that gets it going every time. He's the highest MMR player, or second highest in their team, and he is my personal favorite player in the Novice League. So we'll see what he can do tonight.
All right. Well, with that in mind, of course, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You said before this that you knew who was winning this series, so I got to hear your confident prediction here.
This is a 3-0 for the Spitfires, and just hold me to it, but I got a feeling.
Oh, Cream as a chess hall GM streaming this one is got to be not too happy about that one. I don't know if we're going to see a sweep here. We just saw a sweep in the last game. We'll have to see. I think that the Pawns have more than enough fight in them to at least take a couple games, but we will see as we get into this one. Right off the bat, North going to take a high shot at the net. It will be just off, and that's a huge setup. What an own goal. Oh my goodness, an absolute clanger, but it's on the wrong net to start things off.
Only North would know if he puts it right there that he would own goal. That's just a big brain play and a smart play showing that North is going to dominate this lobby. And realistically, that's just one of those nerves coming out early kind of situations for the Pawns. And they need to avoid that, as I said, and not drop down too far in this first game.
Yeah, that is, we'll call that perfect placement on the shot there. He knew that the defender was going to be in an awkward position and be forced to basically own goal it. But that's definitely not how you want to start off if you are the Pawns. It was a tough save, but definitely able to keep that out of the net. Now they will have to try to regain quickly here. Sepp coming through with a shot. It's going to be high over. Silent going up for the read. Almost finds it, actually. Does get a piece as it's sent across the net. Won't result in the equalizer just yet, but they are starting to get some good pressure. Silent going to hit this one to the corner. Looking for a moving Pillow, who takes to the sky, getting it past one. Will get sent out. So we're playing a little bit of back and forth now. Like you said, Magic, sometimes the nerves can play a bit of a factor. You know you're on stream. You know there's a good amount of people watching. It can make you a little bit shaky, a little bit jittery. The nerves don't look as big of a problem for the Spitfires right now, who are putting on some shots. Now it will be North boxing out. Mr. Silent just keeping him away from the play here. This one's going to go high over the net as Silver J tries to make something happen. But he can't quite find any opportunities on net. And, I mean, other than that little unfortunate own goal there, we haven't really seen too much in terms of threatening shots from either side for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, coming from getting swept on Monday as the Pawns, you're going to start off slow because you're like, damn, we can't be embarrassed on stream this time. So you can see the nerves early on. Spitfires showing a lot of confidence in the way they're playing. Very clean rotations, really. I haven't seen any mistakes come through from the Spitfires' rotations. So if they can keep up the speed as Silver is showing here, they're going to have some open net opportunities, but a good save by Mr. Silent. And I'm happy what I'm seeing from the Pawns right now as they've cleaned up the rotations. And they're giving us a really close first game right here.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that first mistake was definitely a one-off. They've cleaned up the defense quite a bit. As I say that, a little bit of a fake almost sneaks past through to the goal line. But they have looked much more solid on defense, always having someone back, someone ready to intercept. So here comes Pillow, going to be able to 50 it off the corner. Who will get there first? It is North, who keeps it close. tries to keep control, but he won't really be able to get back to this one with the defense and offense once again. Paranoid Monk gonna look to send this one center. He might not have to do much as Pillow just barely gets back in time. And the Pawns have had to make a few of these diving clears. If Spitfires here were just a tiny bit more aggressive, they might have garnered an even greater lead. The score remains 1-0 for now. Pillow hitting it off the backboard. Sepp trying to get there as well. Good clear from the defense, and that one will be sent all the way down as all the players up actually from the Pawns. They're out of coordination. Paranoid Monk can get this one through. He almost gets a double touch. It was a bit too tight to ask for the read. That was another close effort by the Spitfires as they were putting on this pressure, leaving themselves somewhat open to the counterattack. The Pawns haven't really shown much threatening on the other side of the pitch. Sepp hitting this one out to the corner. Pillow keeping it in the corner. That should allow for a free clear from the Spitfires as the Pawns looking a little bit awkward here. They will get a nice shot on net, but it's easily blocked away. And I mean, so far it looks like Spitfire is just playing solidly. And if it weren't for that one own goal, we might have a 0-0 game here. But as it works, the playstyle is working out perfectly for the Spitfires.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're watching a 0-0 scoreline, a defensive battle. Both teams pretty much perfect rotations. You haven't seen many slip-ups come through. And even when those accidental fakes happen, there is another defender there to clean up the mess and keep it out of harm's way. But as the last minute rolls around, it's got to be the Pawns that get something going. And this is not the correct way to start it, but a nice save by Septune is going to keep it out of harm's way again here. And if they can flip sides of the field here, we might have an interesting last couple seconds of this game.
This one will be a little bit awkward in the corner. The Pawns had a bit of an opportunity to get things going. Silent might still be able to remain, but he's beat out once again. Silver dribbling this one backwards. Actually, a huge back pass. I kind of like that. I don't know if he exactly intended to go that way, but that was nice. Silver gonna hit this one off, and now only 12 seconds left. Pawns really don't want to lose this game by that small margin, but it looks like that might have been the difference maker as another one goes in the back of the net. And that should secure the game victory for the Spitfires, 2-0.
Yeah, and at that point, you kind of just throw the kitchen sink, and if we have 5 seconds to score, we can't just wait for them to hit it to us. So Septune taking matters into his own hands and commits his third man. You can't really be upset with that, but really, unless something crazy here happens, a very solid Game 1 victory, but not a bad loss either for the Pawns, as if it wasn't for that one unfortunate own goal, we'd probably be in overtime right now.
It can always be a bit tilting when you really feel like it was that one crucial mistake that lost you the game, especially when it was so early on. I mean, like we've said, other than that, it was pretty much a defensive battle, and neither team was really giving much to the other. The Pawns looking solid on their rotations, even if they were a little bit slow sometimes. They were able to make those diving clears, get the ball out, and the Spitfires on the other end, I mean, just didn't really allow any shooting opportunities. The Pawns did clock in at 3 shots, but I can't even really remember any of them. None of them were really even close to going in, it felt like, and the Spitfires just held control once they got that lead.
Yeah, all 3 shots converted into saves for the Spitfires. It was kind of just while the ball's rolling towards my net at 5 miles an hour, I guess I'll clear it. And that's all the pressure that they had, so they played really good defense. I'm not going to lie, that looked pretty solid in terms of rotations on their back half, but they got to translate it into some counterattacks because there were a few moments where that back pass coming through, if that guy just chases the back pass, he could have dunked 2 people and probably been a goal, but he just let it happen, and the time ticked away. So Pawns, 0 goals in Game 1. How do you translate your opportunities that you had into maybe some offense here in Game 2? Because you do not want to get swept in the perfect sweep style. So it's still on the table, but we'll see if they can deny it right here in Game 2.
That's what I'm wondering. You know, I would say you called the perfect sweep way too early, which I think you have. But I do remember that other time where you called a perfect sweep like halfway through Game 1, and somehow it did end up being a perfect sweep. So maybe you are onto something there. Still, I stick by what I said. I think the Pawns have a lot of fight left in them. You know, like we already talked about, they didn't look that bad in game number 1. They just didn't really create too many opportunities for themselves, and they can start to switch that up, maybe create a little bit more chaos, get some demos going, cut rotations just to get that huge attack going. As Pillow here, gonna get a huge dunk. This could be their first. This one's awkward. I think Silent will be able to get it. That one It's extremely sketchy, but he does manage to put it in the back of the net, and pawns are on the board.
I think we all just had the same little heart attack when that ball hit crossbar, and he was already trying to aerial up to reach it, but he boosted his way back down to the ground, and the pawns ending the perfect sweep before it even gets going. And another huge kickoff goes right into the net, and that would pretty much take away any dominance that the pawns are going to have in this game. No 1-0 game for them, as they're going to tie it right back up. Spitfires, much needed.
I wonder if we're going to see a much different game than game one. You know, sometimes in these series, especially in the novice, it can be a bit chaotic. There are games where only 1 or 2 goals get scored, and then there are other games where defense, goes on vacation. And this might be one of those games. Sep going to get a nice shot through, though, actually. Got to give credit where it's due, as pawns looking to fight back.
I mean, that is just a banger from Sep as he puts it right in the top bin in silver. He has no chance to get to that. So just like that, the pawns putting 2 more goals on the board than they had in the last game. And now it's time for the Spitfires to answer without a kickoff goal coming through.
And Silent going for the ceiling shot. Does get the touch, but Monk was ready and waiting for that one. If it was a little bit more power, could have even seen our 3rd goal from the pawns there. But they still look like they look much more confident this game. I don't think it's just me. They are going for things that they were not going for last game, and they are so close to getting their 3rd here. Overcommitting a little bit. They have to be careful, as that will result in a counterattack. And yeah, it looks like we're seeing a much different game than game one.
You could see the split second where I think that was removing pillow. Yeah, where he thought about, I should just go back, play this safe, let him clear it to me. But no, I must turn on this ball. I must keep the pressure, and he gets dusted. And that's the end of that. So we're back tied 2-2 now. And regardless of the kickoff here, this is just an absolute bloodbath early on in game 2.
And it might get even worse as Sep coming through with the air dribble. The man has warmed up now, and he is looking to bring it back for the pawns. Another beautiful goal for the pawns.
Sep is turning up right here in game 2. I mean, I called him removing pillow to be the guy to get them going. He's sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard, and his team is still winning. So shout out to Sep for how he's playing in this game too, and getting the offense alive.
Indeed, and it looks like both offenses very much alive. Like I said, the defenses might have gone on short notice, as North will prove me wrong temporarily. We'll manage to keep that one out, and that's a good sign. A lot of the times, if you can stop the bleeding, you can start to turn the momentum the other way. So that's a nice shot coming out, but Sep completely ready for it. Silver J again hit this one over the backboard. Does he have the read? He doesn't quite get it. Might have been blocked either way. Now we will never know. Is this one bouncing up dangerously? North with this shot hits way too high. I don't know if there's a follow-up there. Monk will be there eventually. This one's going to be a bit awkward. And there is the Spitfires kind of missing out on some somewhat free opportunities. If they had placed those shots just on the net, there's a pretty high likelihood they score, but they might still be able to. Monk will actually steal this goal in what looked like an attempt to save it, but the Spitfires do manage to even the score out.
Poor North was trying to get his 1st goal of the series, or actually might have been the 2nd, but his teammates were having none of it. This paranoid Monk, right place we'll call it, but almost saved it to be honest. But they get the lucky roll, and it'll tie the game right back up.
We just call that a nice little goal steal. He was in the right spot at the right time. Even though it was close as this one. That's somehow a goal. I'm not sure what's happening in this game anymore, to be honest, but we are witnessing some shenanigans.
There was sparks flying off that man's car for a solid 2 seconds before he died. But it does end up turning into a goal. As the Pawns, they like to have a 1-goal lead, and if they could keep it here, as the game's not even halfway over, we have 7 goals gone by.
Yeah, we have almost quadrupled the amount of goals from game 1. And if we see another one, as Silver J might have an opportunity here, can't quite get there in time. But the Pawns are doing well. They're creating the chaos like I talked about. They got the demos for the last goal. There's Sep coming through as well with another one. They're trying to switch things up. And it has been working so far. But I'm just mildly fearful for them that they forgot that they still do have to play defense. Even with this lead, the Spitfires could come back in an instant, but not if Pillow has anything to say about it. Almost managing to get that one through. The ball will be sent back to the Pawns half. That one looks like it's on target. North is going to be able to get there, and it's just back and forth. Another tie game on our hands.
Yeah, Sep, he tried to greed for the boost spawn. I don't think it did. and it was his demise either way. It was a nice pass midfield by Paranoid Monk and a good finish by North. And would you look at that? We are tied again.
Who would have thought? Now we have officially quadrupled the goals in game 1 to here. And they're not really showing any signs of slowing down. This one got to be sent to the midfield as Paranoid Monk getting it up high. Sep, I got flashbacks to game 1 where that was an own goal in that position, but this time he does improve on his play. Manages to get the read. Silver barely manages to get back in time. This one will stay center. Sep gonna try to 50 it. It will be out from Silver. J removing Pillow, barely making the touch there, but he does well to get out. And this long-range game of ping pong is going on even further. Silver with a nice read, actually. It's a crucial clear. Can he get anything off of this, though? Just wants to hit off the backboard, trying to find his teammate as Monk also hanging it off the backboard. Pillow can't get the touch, and that shot will be on, but Sep, with the diving save, just barely manages to get it out. Keeping the lead from going back in the Spitfire's favor. I mean, you have to think if you're the pawns here, you give the Spitfires more advantage. They're going to be up 2-0, and they will go up 5-4 for the game. Now, is that their first lead of the series, actually? Or of the game, actually? I haven't been able to keep track.
It has been pawn score, Spitfires answer the entire way. And, I mean, I feel bad for Sep right now. He's playing an incredible game. 3 goals, 4 saves. His teammates, not that they're playing bad, but you can definitely feel like there's holes in the defense when Sep is not there to save the day. And now they have to score from behind. Some territory they have been unsuccessful with and unfamiliar with here in Game 2.
I have to agree. I mean, Sep has been doing just absolutely the most. He's been scoring. He's been making saves. He's been making plays all over the board. And that's a tough one. You just spawn. That's going to be another one. And now Spitfire is starting to run away with Game 2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, he just spawns in, but it wasn't in any situation to make a save. A good, powerful shot by Silver. And I think that probably does put a bit of a stranglehold on this game because the Pawns offense, I think they've been held scoreless. It's about 2 minutes left in the game, so kind of cooling off here. And now they're looking at a reverse sweep situation, or they're going home with back-to-back sweeps in this week.
It is looking like they probably will be in that situation. You know, we scored goals at a rapid rate. Somewhere along the line, the Pawns did slow down, and I hate to call out any one player in particular, but I really expect removing Pillow to be stepping up here, especially with the support of his teammates. It feels like he's just having a little bit of trouble getting involved. And you have to feel like if they were playing fully together as a team, they would be able to take another game and have a chance in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Removing Pillow, it's a good 60 MMR above any of his teammates, as Sep puts another one on target. And he finishes the game with 4 goals, 4 saves, so it cannot be his fault that they're losing right now, because he's playing really well. But we'll see how they answer against Adversity, as they need 3 games in a row, or they're losing another crucial divisional matchup here in the divisional week. And we'll see what they can draw up, as North and the gang, they're playing pretty solid right now.
And I have to agree, the defense definitely was not as clinical as game 1 for either team here. The Spitfires still managing to outshoot the Pawns and just get, well, not outshoot, but outscore. They actually had less shots, but were able to pull off 6 goals to the 5. And that really feels like a testament to the quality of the Spitfires shooting as compared to the Pawns. The Pawns, meanwhile, I mean, this is such a tough position. You just got swept on your last matchup, your last division matchup, and now you're facing getting swept 2 times in a row. I mean, you really need to reach deep here and find some way. But at this point, I mean, what can you do to try and put a stop to the Spitfires' momentum?
Well, let's see. Spitfires had 10 shots. Sep had 4 saves. Can you guess how many goals the Spitfires still had? Do a little math here. If Sep didn't save it, it was probably going in their goal. And that's probably what was the problem there. It was every single goal that was not, or shot that wasn't saved by Sep was in the back of their net. So, I mean, I don't want to act like Sep's 1v5 in the series, but he's doing a hell of a good job of keeping his team afloat. So if we can get some, I mean, they don't even really need offense at this point. They had 4 goals. That's usually plenty. It would have been plenty in game 1, but their defense, they need to clean it up. They need to do it now.
Have to agree. You just can't be letting in 6 goals, especially when the Spitfires have looked pretty difficult to score on for the most part. But we'll be heading into game 3 here with high hopes for the Pawns. Series is not over by any stretch of the imagination. We've seen 2 very different games so far. Very defensive battle and then a fairly offensive battle right after. The Pawns can just keep up with this changing climate. There is a huge likelihood that they can at least take 1 game here, and that's really all they have to be focused on. Trying to find a little bit of momentum, a little bit of rhythm, and that huge shot to start it off is just what they need. Mr. Silent coming out of nowhere with a banger.
It's nice to say somebody else's name for a goal here for the Pawns as a clanger to the bottom left. And the momentum that they need, but they did start off with a 1-0 score last game, and they gave up a kickoff goal. So we'll see what's coming here. Looks pretty solid, and a nice goal coming through. Now they need to play some defense.
Like you said, that's exactly what they needed. But now they need to keep this momentum going. They can't let the Spitfires immediately come back and equalize. Another good attempt by the Pawns. Another huge shot, but Paranoid Monk will send that one away. Spitfires being forced back to their own half. Looking a little bit uncomfortable, but still managing to deal with it. Silver J with the pre-flip, actually. Getting that one out of play. There will be a huge dunk coming through, but Mr. Silent cleaning it up. He does not look like he wants to get swept, and that's a huge blunder, actually. That one's so close. Mr. Silent couldn't quite make the read off of the defensive misplay by the Spitfires. But they're getting some good looks here. They're looking to get even more aggressive, pumping it up, and meanwhile trying to keep Spitfires' opportunities to a minimum. North hitting this one off the sidewall. Might try to follow it up himself. Does get a demo. And gets a bump as well. That net is open. No. Paranoid Monk can't make this shot. It was such a good play by North. Okay, it still goes in either way. North really was the one who deserved the assist for that, but it will eventually go in the back of the net.
This is day like 500 of me asking Rocket League to give demos counting as an assist when it results in a goal, because North gets no points for that. But I think there's no doubt in any of our minds who caused that goal. So shout out to North with a huge play, getting physical in the goal line, and Paranoid Monk finishing it off the second time he had the chance.
Ooh, and the infield pass coming out from the Pawns. I love that idea. It was just off target. If that was a little bit more accurate, it could have been a goal for them. But I like that they're getting creative. They're trying to find some different ways to score here, not just rushing it at the net over and over. They realize they're in a dire situation. Trying to make the most of it. Here comes Sepp. We'll get high over 1. Don't think this ball is going to be shootable, but it will be sent middle. And sent right back into the Pawns back line. As Sepp not getting the best touch there. That was a little bit dangerous, but speaking of dangerous, if there was any boost in the tank there for Pillow, could have been a shot. So I'm just getting sent right back into the half of the Spitfires, who have looked fairly awkward on defense so far in this game. They haven't really been able to keep up with the same pace. It's that one a little bit close there. And it seems like we're seeing a re-energized Pawns here. I mean, they do not look like they want to get swept in this series.
No, I mean, not that I'm hoping for them to get swept, but my prediction was kind of based off of Sepp playing well and removing Paranoid Monk playing well, because he's looking really good. But Sepp stepping up is kind of like the X factor right now to prove me wrong and take a game off of them. And he's at the bottom of the scoreboard. So if Pawns can make something happen with the other 2 players, they are more than capable of taking a game off this team. This is not a juggernaut in the Spitfires, but Paranoid Monk, a one-on-one situation, can't get the dunk, and with time taken away very quickly, very low-scoring game here compared to last game.
And for the sake of your nerves, I mean, if you're the Pawns, you have to try and get an advantage before it heads to overtime. I mean, the Spitfires still have a couple games to buffer, even if they lose this one. Pawns only have 1 in the series left. They do not want to make it close. The pre-jump didn't quite work out there. Pawns all coming forward. That one's so close, but the bounce is not going to favor the Pawns. Will just be cleared away as every player is just rushing right past the ball. They're actually going to leave it for the Spitfires. I don't know if that was a good decision, but passed right back anyways. Paranoid Monk getting this past 1. North getting this out. Paranoid Monk going to go up for this, trying to get the redirect. Does get it to the corner. It's not really in a shootable position. Now it is. Silver J with the shot, and he makes it good. Spitfires coming back with the offense, and they take another advantage.
I mean, this is as good as it gets from the Spitfires offense. Just non-stop assault. 2 people in net with a well-placed shot. Kind of the story of the day. Silver, when he gets a chance, he is putting it really high up in the goal where the defender could not reach it. And good shooting is resulting in another lead for the Spitfires. And the
Hold up.
Pawns do it with the backs against the wall. Huge save from North, has to make another one, but no, whiff comes through and a sigh of relief.
That was such a good shot from the Pawns there. I didn't even see exactly who shot it, but I saw it was just headed directly on target. The defense remaining strong for the Spitfires. They only have to hold on for 30 seconds more to get this sweep and take a really nice position in their division. Here comes Paranoid Monk looking for the hook shot, but it gets a little bit away from him. Regardless, it will head over the backboard. Sepp can't get a piece of it. It's going to continue to be awkward in this corner. Spitfires just have to play keep away, but they do allow the opportunity for at least one more attack. Sepp hitting it back and off the backboard. If they can put this one away, surely it's over. Silent going to keep it up. The ball's still in the air for now, but they have so far to go, and they won't be able to. Spitfires, another close game to close it out, but they managed to take the lead, and they come out victorious in the sweep.
Yeah, that's a painful loss, especially in the game 3 there. It really felt like a team effort. Everybody was chipping in. It wasn't just one guy, and they still came up short. Just great defense, really, from the Spitfires. And, I mean, shout out to North. I feel like he was just pre-jumping people towards the end there to make saves, and it was enough to get the job done and take a really good hole in their division, going to 5-2. And I don't think the Vandals have played yet, but that's the matchup they're looking at. Another divisional team that's similar in the standings, so we'll keep an eye out for that. But really good spot for the Spitfires to be at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with that 2-1 divisional advantage, now they're going to be looking good. A nice win over the Pawns. I mean, that's going to boost your confidence. If you're the Pawns, though, I wouldn't really be too hard on yourself. Spitfires played well in that game, and it was a little bit difficult, it felt like, for the Pawns to find their rhythm. But when we saw those moments, I mean, they had those shots where they would come out of nowhere and show their true potential. Unfortunate, this one did have to be a sweep, but GG, you always go next. And with that said, a little bit of a short one to end the stream. We will be ending a little bit soon here, unfortunately. But before we go, we do have to shout out our Challenger Premium subscribers in the Nemesis server. If we could get that graphic pulled up real quick, and there it is. Oh, it's all of the premium subscribers. Okay, sorry, I thought it was just the Challenger or something. But we do have all of our Nemesis premium subscribers there. Thank you guys for supporting the league. You guys are the real MVPs, keeping us afloat. We couldn't do it without you. And yeah, any final thoughts on the series there, Magic?
It's definitely a painful one for the Pawns, but they showed a lot of good stuff today, and I think they're a very capable team of finishing out the rest of the season with some good games, because they lost every one of those games so close. So nothing to feel upset about, but just a really good game for the Spitfires, and a good series to finish the night off. The night off one.
Absolutely. Thank you guys once again so much for watching. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you guys back here on Wednesday, 8 p.m. EST. Oh, before we go, actually, we do have a gifted sub, Chuck the Stud, gifting a tier 1 subscription to Silver J. Much obliged, appreciate it, and congrats on the gifted sub. That's huge. Got the little fire flame emoji there now. But yeah, that's about going to do it, guys. Thanks for sticking with us, and we will catch you back here on Wednesday. Take care, everyone.
I was broken and torn at the seams. Now it feels good that you're using me. You're the flavor in all of my dreams. See red when you're making me blue. And I hate that I think that it's cute when you blush cause you're hiding the truth. Maybe we just stick to being stoned instead of always throwing sticks and stones. Cause I'm higher when we're going up in smoke. You're so bad. Cause baby you're bad for me, but don't feel bad for me. Cause I'm in love with the way that it hurts me to stay. Baby you're bad for me, but don't feel bad for me. It's a shame, it's a pain, so let's pop the champagne. She's not crazy about me, she's just crazy. They call her bad for me. I call her baby. She's not crazy about me. She's just crazy. They call her bad for me. I call her baby. Baby, you're bad.